Mental Misplay is proud to be QuiverTime ambassadors. Use the affiliate link down below and the code BIGDRAWS at checkout to help out the channel and get a sweet discount on one of the best MTG accessories on the market. This video wouldn't be possible without moxfield.com. They are the best deck building website on the entire internet. Go make an account. It's free. Give us a follow, and we'll see you out there. I can't wait to see your list.
It's the Alan and Cyrus talking hour. Hey, it's Cyrus up there.
Let's watch the stream. If you're
no,
it's
other
delayed
corner.
for
It's
me.
the other
Other
one.
corner. That way.
Yeah, it's down there.
I gotta remember. Okay,
Yep.
it's the same last time. I can remember this. We got this.
So we don't have topics though today. Baka Bros and R Perry, we're like we're just whiffing it today.
Wing it mode.
Have you built any new commander decks, Cyrus? Have
I've
you done?
thought about building.
Oh, you thought about building a commander deck? Oh, I mean, fuck it. We could just do that. We could just do a live brew, right? Like I don't give a crap, right?
For sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I unless I was talking to you about this on the last podcast, which it might have been where we talked about this. So I was talking about possibly building the most dangerous gamer.
You did mention that. That does the attractions.
Those attractions, which I just have a pile of with nothing to do with them. So I figure
Yep.
maybe I'll throw them into a deck.
We touched on it briefly because I was like, attractions are dangerous. Attractions, to me, an attractions deck. I've only played against like one a couple times, or maybe one time. I don't even remember, but it played out the way a Super Friends deck plays out. It was just like
there's so many triggers, right?
When the attractions player got to take their turn, they did because they trigger on upkeep or some stupid shit. I think
it's on upkeep, or there's like a bunch of cards that trigger them too. I think.
So whenever
roll a die and a bunch of shit happens is what I sort of remember.
And some of them were like, roll 2 more times, and just like, I'm Mark Rosewater, waka waka. And
I tend to just be sort of attracted to those kind of strategies in games in general and Magic for sure, where I just like end up building solitaire decks. So I'd rather not do that. I've been happy with where like my life gain deck is, because it does the gain a bunch of life thing, but it like actively ends the game by gaining life, so it's not just like pillow forting up super tough. What other deck am I kind of happy with? I don't know. I have a +1/+1 counters deck that's like not too strong. I tend to just like pick a mechanic and just build around it super like all in on that mechanic. So I don't know. Maybe I'll build the attractions deck. Maybe I won't. I can't quite decide. It would definitely be built at extremely low power, because it's not a deck that I really want any value sitting in. So
would you be running this into like a normal play group, or like the library kids, or are you doing the library still, or?
Library thing has been on pause for a while because of like internal library things, I guess.
Whack.
Yeah,
those librarians need to pull their heads out of their butts.
They do. Well, they need to hire it's a weird job description, because it's called a teen librarian, but it is not a librarian who is a teen. It is like a librarian who is an adult, who is the head of like teen things at the library. Whenever I say hire a teen librarian, friends who have like teens are like, oh, my teen would love to do that. And I'm like, no, this is like a 4-year degree job of some degree, and you have to have, But yeah, so that hasn't started up yet because they haven't hired a new one of those people. So there isn't anyone to like write the thing to ask the government to
the library budget givers
dollars, yeah, to do the thing.
Oh, that's...
So literally, they just like buy snacks.
Yeah.
Super Baka Bros, local friendo, says they hired someone there recently, so maybe that's a good sign. Maybe we'll get.
You got your teen librarian friend. All right, gotta go grease them up, bring them some fucking collector boosters, and be like, listen, bud.
How you feel about the magic cards?
We're gonna come in here and we're gonna do Satan stuff. We're gonna do fucking devil cards.
For sure.
It's better than at least they won't be playing D&D, right? Like.
Oh, we also get D&D going for sure. There's actually a lot of D&D stuff to do locally, than not as much Magic stuff. So we do have to get it going. But it would be to play against like the library kids and there's like a game night in town once a month that I barely ever make it to, but it would be to play there as well for
All
just
right.
casual, something I can bust out that's funny that like isn't, I don't think would make anyone mad,
Yep.
hopefully is the thing.
I'm really worried that Italia is going to make people mad at at Philly. I'm really worried about this, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I mean, I'd say yeah, like Dangerous Gamer's a good one. You could also just be like, fuck it, and just make some uncommander. Like, I really enjoyed
Mhm.
playing with the Bruce base for. It came from the planet Glurg or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The the Simic
Slorgum or
bullshit.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the Simic bullshit. Like it does, it like when it comes into play, it becomes a copy of like 5 creatures mashed together or fucking whatever it is.
Mhm.
Like Like I brewed that and I brewed it to just be a 10/10 unblockable infect. Like just like put in like 5 unblockables, 5 infect creatures, and like a bunch of nonsense. And when it comes into play, it's just big and unblockable and has infect, and you block somebody. You know.
Mhm.
I guess now would probably be even better to build that with all the fucking toxic and all that
Oh
garbage.
yeah. Yeah, whole new suite of cards to pull from.
It's too strong. It's too infect is too strong now.
Mm.
Who
This is what I hear.
who killed Phil beat us with infect. He beat our butts.
Nice.
He built the Toxic 2 commander from the
Oh,
precon,
nice.
and
Uh-huh.
he killed us. Um,
That's
Rooting
awesome.
for me to make some oh no mad stuff occur with Italy. Not really mad, but having to hold down some bad words or actions would be funny. Wow. So I went and play tested this deck. And so like I stopped playing Atali because of COVID, but because it's like you can't play it over webcam. And the worst thing that can happen with Atali is somebody takes it or clones it and gets Atali flips off my deck. So I built this to like really proc really hard off of like everything in there. And I was talking about this a minute ago when I was on stream, was that like when I first built it, it was like wheels and ramp and Eldrazi. So like Atali was just shitting out Eldrazi over and over and over again.
Mhm.
But I rebuilt it and was like, I need to make it so that it's not shitting out Eldrazi, and there are some Eldrazi in there, but that everything that it flips into is somehow either benefiting from those flips or enabling more flips. So there's like
Mhm.
extra combat guys. There's stuff like that is dealing damage off stuff cast from exile. And then all the stuff in there otherwise that were like bombs were bombs that are taking stuff. So Hellkite Tyrant, It That Betrays, and Emrakul, because Emrakul takes your whole turn. I was like, that takes something, right? Um, so it's in a much different, much more synergistic place, and it
Mhm.
feels like it was like a personal, like a space of growth and a space of like a journey for me to
For
rebuild it
sure.
and be like, oh, I'm thinking about this from a totally different metric after jamming games for 3 years of 300 games a year, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, that's actually really cool. I love those sorts of level ups just in thinking about Magic and any game really, but um yeah, that's cool. That's a cool angle for it too. When I was looking at the list, the extra attacks, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's super brutal. You're playing a lot of, or at least a few cards that I was familiar with from the Faldorn precon
okay,
that I still have mostly in pre-con mode, but I took the Jessica's Will out of it to trade. Um, but uh,
yep.
but yeah, the Faldorn cards are super cool. The Guild Artisan or whatever it is that gets you, I think, treasures maybe when you cast things from exile,
I don't know.
or maybe that's the damage one.
I put it's archaeologist. It's like something
That's right.
archaeologist, and
Yeah.
that one does bonks off of the flips. It does, and there's a creature that does the same thing too, which makes it extra crazy. But it's
Hmm.
whenever you cast a spell from exile, your commander does that much damage to a player, and there's a creature that does that and a background that does that. Here it is.
Nice.
Where's So, and I bought a hexplate wall breaker, which is an equipment that gives extra attacks, and it has
Oh,
the four
nice.
Mirrodin on it. So we'll put it up here. I guess I could put it up in our little. I don't have a window for it or anything, like a bum. Yeah, hexplate war breaker, and it's 5 mana, 3 and 2 red. For Mirrodin, equipped creature gets +2/+2. So for Mirrodin is like it makes a rebel when it comes into play, right? Something
Oh,
stupid like
okay.
that. Whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So great.
Nice.
So that may or may not go in. I was like,
Is for Mirrodin a keyword, or is it just one of those like pretend abilities that has a name
no.
but doesn't mean anything?
It says on this, it says for Mirrodin with an exclamation point, and there's no and it's not in italics, and there's 0 reminder text.
Weird. Oh, it's
So
because it's the full art ones don't have
yeah,
any reminder text on, which is really kind of annoying.
they want you to be a smarty butt for sure.
You want the widescreen, you better know what this card does.
Hmm. Let's open up
I
Gather.
certainly don't know what any of the new mechanics do. Like us going through the set review last week was good, and then I've watched some content over the week where I've gotten to learn some more of the all will be one cards.
Okay.
Mostly that the venerated rot priest, that thing that gets targeted
It's crazy,
makes a
right?
toxic.
It's
I
fucking
think
nutso.
so wild. It's so cool.
I'm gonna
I don't
do
think
a
it's
window
really good for
capture
EDH,
of.
but
Oh no, cancel, wrong one. I'm sorry, I'm doing a window capture for the
yes, we can see
card
this
displays
for
and shit.
Mirrodin guy.
So what sorry, but you were saying you've been doing so you've been watching content that has like stuff about the sets or whatever?
Yeah, just a little bit, and nothing from the EDH world, so nothing that's really informed anything I want to mess around with for that. There's a
Yep.
ton of just cool like high power casual cards, which is kind of every set, but this one's got some real fancy stuff.
Any pauper bangers?
People have been trying this creatureless infect deck using that blue card that like you draw a card and everyone gets a poison.
Okay.
And just using that and then like proliferate stuff. But one of
All
the
right.
guys who's trying it out really like he put it into perspective in a way that I hadn't really thought about, which was that like if your opponents need to take 10 poison damage, you have to cast
What's
10.
the card called? Do you know what it's called?
Jeez, it's a blue 2-cost instant that makes you draw a card and everyone gets a poison counter.
Wow.
I can find it through Scryfall as I'm babbling here, but so he's saying, you know, in order for that to happen, you have to cast 10 spells that either give a poison counter or proliferate, which is
Okay.
actually like kind of a lot in like a small like in Pauper, because you're not like able to, you can't fill your deck with as much stuff that does other things because you are needing to get these spells off, and sort of like I don't know, it just kind of made me think about like creatures and how valuable they are kind of in general. And something that Rebel had said too, which is like to build a good control deck in Commander, you have to use more permanents
Gotcha.
because your instants can only do one thing and then they are gone. So I don't really have anywhere I was going with this overall except for the prologue to Phyresis.
Okay.
Each opponent gets a poison counter and draw a card for 1 and a blue. So you just do that, and then you
That's wild.
yeah, and then you proliferate a bunch of times. But it's like you got to be able to do that thing, or there's like a virulent wounds from New Phyrexia. That's like target creature gets -1/-1, and if it dies, the controller gets a poison counter.
Okay.
So doing that kind of stuff, and it's kind of cool. It just is like you have to dedicate so much to that plan that you end up with like maybe 20 cards in your deck get or proliferate poison counters, and you have to cast 10 of those in order to win the game. So your numbers start looking pretty bad once you start adding like good support cards to the mix. So hasn't mixed up Pauper too much.
It's fair.
Which the last two sets we thought we were going to see some big changes because we had those big guys that you could pay the smaller amounts to play like a smaller version of the creature.
Okay, yep.
And those never really showed up, and now people are trying this, but it's kind of like, it'll be a fun deck you could bring to like an open play meetup, and it'd be silly, but like you wouldn't really want to run this in a tournament. Because in the colors that it's good in, there's just so many better things you can be doing.
Yeah. All right. This sounds like Pauper's got stuff, but nothing like. It's
It's funny because it's kind of like a similar Eternal format to Commander, or like especially to cEDH, because Pauper's mostly played competitively. That it's like, it has to really be a big deal to make its way into decks and to become really like anything that shakes up the meta, because there's a lot of cards already.
Yeah, because they dropped they did stuff in the last time it really got shook up was like Modern Horizons 2, right? They like really fucked it up. And they or was it Modern Horizons 1?
It was the first one with the stupid Astrolabe
like
thing.
Astrolabe, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, what if Pauper, but you have perfect 5-color mana bases? And the whole format went wild. And then it was like, what if it just makes Affinity even better? Because you can't do anything without making Affinity better.
Shandable says, any downshifts from Double Masters to shake anything up?
One of my favorite decks got a little bit of an upgrade from I think it was from Double Masters. I have to look up the card real quick just to make sure I'm...
Good question, Shandable. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Is this Double Masters? Yes, okay. All the different set symbols just run together in my head, so I couldn't be sure. But Dark Dweller Oracle, a goblin from originally from Core Set 2019, and then was also in the Forgotten Realms Commander deck, one of them. Got downshifted from Rare, all the way from Rare down to Common, and all it really did that was spicy was make the Goblin combo deck like a little bit better. Not like a ton, but you got to replace some other stuff with Dark Dweller Oracles because they're goblins, so you could search them out with your goblin matrons.
Sacrifice a creature, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn.
Yeah,
that was a rare?
It was a rare, yeah. That TCG guy. Corey, what's up? Thanks for the raid.
Oh shit, Corey, raiding with a party of 9. We love you, Corey. Oh my god. I was supposed to do a live brew with Corey on Sunday, and it came Sunday afternoon, and I was like, like family time, tired. He was like, it's cool, you're cool, don't worry. Nice. And I was like, he's all good, no worries, exactly that. So we'll get a brew in for sure. We'll do some brewing.
For sure.
Anybody just joined to play Pauper? We're talking a little bit. I'm grilling Cyrus on big Pauper stuff. So what's your deck you play? I don't even remember. What's your like?
Well, it's funny because this deck, the one that Dark Dweller Oracle goes in, has become. It's like my favorite, like not super competitive deck to play. It's the Goblin combo deck.
Okay.
And so the way this card works, the way the deck works, you cast first day of class that says, whenever you play a creature this turn, they get a +1/+1 counter. Whenever a creature comes into play, they get a +1/+1 counter. And then you use Putrid Goblin. And so you sacrifice him. He has Persist. Comes back with -1/-1. Gets the +1/+1. They cancel each other out. And you can do that infinite times. And so you use Skirk Prospector to sacrifice him to get red mana. But sometimes what would happen is you get the infinite mana set up, but you don't have your outlet. So Dark Dweller Oracle is a goblin that you can then play and continue sacrificing the Putrid Goblin, and now you get to play your whole library because he exiles the top card over and over again.
Nope.
And then you can win in any... I mean, you can just play out all your creature. Basically, what he does actually is he digs for makeshift munitions, because that's the real outlet once you have infinite mana, is you play makeshift munitions, and you just keep sacrificing the Putrid Goblin over and over again.
Are there a lot of infinite combos in Pauper?
Not a whole ton, but there's now 2 that are like pretty good. There's the Goblin one, and there's a Walls deck.
A walls deck that goes infinite?
A literal Walls deck that just uses Overgrown Battlement, which makes a green for each wall you control, or Defender, I guess I should say. And then Axebane Guardian, which makes a mana of any color for each defender you control. You get a whole bunch of defenders out there, and you put fucking Freed from the Real on one of them, make infinite mana, and then you win. My favorite way to win in that deck is with Secret Door, which is a defender from AFR that you can pay 5 and venture into the dungeon. So you can do infinite dungeon ventures to win the game.
And one of those bops for 5, right?
Well, that's the initiative. Unfortunately, one of them
Oh.
bops for 1. So if you're playing on
What?
Moto, you better get ready to do some clicking because it takes forever if your opponent doesn't scoop. You have to sit there and because the dungeon's like 5 different things you have to loop through, and only one of them does a damage. So you're like, okay, I scry 1. Now I deal my damage. Now I get a treasure. Now I do this. I only bop you for 1 again, and it takes forever. But
it takes fucking 20 minutes probably.
I love playing that one in paper where it's very easy to.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I Zort you, and they're like, okay, move the thing through the dungeon each time. Do you scry each time? No one cares. That's cool. I'm glad there were shakeups. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah, Double Masters had some cool stuff. I'm sure there's probably other downshifts in there too, but that the Dark Dweller Oracle is a good one. I see Shanvol's had the Temur Cascade deck. That deck's super cool. I don't know that it's been showing up in leagues a whole bunch lately. Pauper's been a little slightly on the not stagnant, I wouldn't say, but the good decks are winning a lot right now. The kind of the S tier is beating the A tier.
How many decks are there in said S tier?
I'd say like maybe 3.
Okay. So
I'd have
would you say it needs a shakeup, or would you say it needs like?
I don't know. Like, I mean, when I look at the list on the leagues, there's probably more like 8 or 9, maybe even 10 decks that you play, which isn't too bad actually. The last couple weeks there was just like Affinity was just fucking rolling stuff, but now it doesn't look as bad. So
all right, well that's good at least.
This guy comes in and out. People get gutsy and they cut their artifact hate from the sideboard, and then Affinity is like, oh, we won every game for 2 weeks, and then be like, all right, put the dust to dust back in.
Have you seen anything, anybody like really bugging out about any cards for comp? Seen any like? I haven't really seen anything yet that's like changed.
I haven't seen a
the
single
cEDH meta, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I saw, people were bugging out about Elishnorn, but I haven't seen her actually do anything too major. The game that Play to Win put out of all will be one commanders was like a long and clunky game because there just wasn't any commander to push things over the top.
Take it home, right? I mean, there's one of them. There's a Is It one that goes infinite. I think
okay.
I think the Is It one. I don't know if they just only played Praetors or whatever, or whatever it was. But yeah, I think the Is It one goes infinite. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right. I think it's convoluted, maybe, if I remember right. But yeah. I guess your Bros knows about Dust to Dust. That card's fucked up.
I'm looking now. Phyrexia, Is It Commander? No, it just didn't pull up fucking nothing. None of these are Phyrexian, so whatever. I tried.
Oh, Vic and Tyler won on combat damage with it. Yeah, superior limited skill shining through. That is kind of what it. Yeah, that's kind of what that. I mean, I don't know that I even made it to the end of the video, but I did get that kind of vibe where it's like just play permanence and push through damage because everyone else is going to be dartling around with weird stuff. I don't know Ovica though.
I'm like looking at all these dumb commanders. There's a lot of them.
Oh, which one's Ovica?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, okay, that is the Is It one. Ward 3, pay 3 life is pretty sweet. And yeah, when you cast the spell, you make a bunch of things that have haste. Yeah, so that makes sense. And what Conspicuous Snoop is saying here, Elishnorn had the game pretty locked, but couldn't keep pace with Oveka. That's why I think Stacks is not actually good in cEDH right now. Because unless you're Winota, who is keeping pace by
Hmm.
virtue of how she works,
Explosive it is, yeah.
the Stacks is just so hard. You have to
Hmm.
you have to do so much more right to win a game than you
Yep.
do in any other deck type, and your opponents have to do the right thing also, because opponents tend to get real trigger happy with Stacks pieces, and
Yep.
they blow them up, and then the next player wins. And you're like, that's why you shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
But they did. So
I've been having like
it-
okay games with Dalsum, but they're like most of them are like me like sequencing the turns and the moves and the stuff in my head and like looking forward to that draw. So every turn there's this like I get to draw extra cards. So it's like every turn has that dopamine rush for me, you know?
totally.
So Dalsum is like I'm having fun if I'm drawing cards, you know? And
And it at least is in a similar vein of Winota, where you're getting value off your Stacks pieces. They're not just sitting there
yep,
waiting to be blown up. They're actively drawing you cards and dealing damage.
yep,
So I think it definitely is in contention for what Stacks decks in cEDH want to be doing.
yep. Oh, so this thing Oveka you just isochron, right? Because isochron is a
Oh
cast.
yeah, yeah, it sure is. So yeah, you could make
Just you make a million
infinite
fucking dudes,
little hasty guys.
which is like that's like a strategy, you know.
It's a strategy for sure.
You need like 50 things. You need like the rocks and the isochron and the spell that goes. You need the reversal, and then you need something to do with all your dumb goblins.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like you can make a lot of goblins for sure.
yeah. I'm not sure, like, so I'm looking at it as someone who's played a dumb 7-drop commander in cEDH for quite a bit.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure that like that's also just an Isocrat Scepter deck.
Yep,
Um
it's a tall
and I
order.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know that red is better than black if you're only going to get two colors, like as this like, and I sort of prefer Toxroll being like a
Board
reset
wife. Yeah.
button, yeah, than and a win con.
Yep. I mean,
So
Donk for 6, and you can do stormy stuff in Is It
you
also.
can. It
You
has
know, so
kind of
like
an
you could build
yeah.
this into like some gross stormy shit, you know?
Hmm.
Um so I think that like if you storm for 10 or whatever, you make 10 goblins. Like 10 goblins and the thing's a fucking 6/6 too. So like but the thing is it does cost 7 mana and there's no inherent value in the command zone. You know, there's no like
And getting this thing out early, I mean, at least it protects itself a little bit, but
yeah,
like
if
an
you get it
early
out.
Oveka is not like as backbreaking as an early Toxroll, I don't think. Not
Yeah.
that I need to be comparing the two. There's
No,
no
but
real.
they have a similar metric in that they are both expensive ass commanders.
Hmm. The flying is nice. I'll give it that. Flying is pretty cool. And that it's holding the Ice Crown Scepter. I'm gonna say that
Oh,
is
yep,
definitely what it's holding.
confirmed. Yep, yep. Yep. I messaged the artist right now, and Antonio Jose Manzanedo, and I was like, "Hey, bud, is that the Isaac Constant?" He was like, "Yep, that's what it is."
There is.
So
Yeah, well, Thar is pretty sweet, by the way. 6 mana is a lot, but Thar at least he comes down and demands an answer.
yeah, Rurikthar is out there for sure. So I broke Catilda with Cicada and Darksaber and Adam, and honestly, people need to reevaluate that because making human hate bears into dorks is very strong. In today's meta game, talks will not understand it. Yes, absolutely. So Catilda.
That's what I'm doing here. Oh, the green white one or the flip one? I'm gonna assume
Pro werewolves. Human creatures you control have tap to add 1 mana of any of these creatures' colors, and 6 mana and tap it. Put a
making
1/1
dorks. Yeah. So.
counter on each creature you control. Yeah. Pro werewolves though. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it looks
Um,
like green white infinite mana outlet.
No, that has a
Um,
tap ability, so it must be a different one.
no, the other one doesn't do and is just mono white. So it's this one. You must have a way to untap this thing
Oh
involved
yeah.
in the
Okay,
infinite
sure.
mana.
Sure.
Um, I don't know. I don't think anything's wrong with hate bears. I just think it's the hardest strategy you could choose to be playing to win games right now.
Yep, you gotta be a real. So like,
Especially tournament games. Like I was gonna say earlier, in cEDH is one thing. Like I think Stacks is probably more fine in cEDH, but in tournament commander, Stacks is I would never. I just cannot.
no, you gotta
Would
be an
never bring
animal.
myself to bring a Stacks deck because it's just so much more work you gotta do to get the win.
So the way Ken's Dalsum works is very interesting because there's stacks pieces that are like the graveyard hate and like, but the thing is, it's not the one card per turn. The only one card per turn stacks piece is the deafening silence, and then everything else is really like hate bears that are turning off ETBs, and then he's got no ETBs in the deck. So it's a super interesting deck. His build of it is streamlined in a way that you just don't have to worry about how you layer the stacks as much. Like you don't have to be as terrified, and you can just lay them down and just keep swinging and not have to worry about them affecting you either, which is crazy. So it's running like Linvala, and you can just play Linvala and just go swing with it every fucking turn. So there is an interesting thing about the way like that. Yeah, the Dalsum's a cool thing in an interesting place, and I think that I'll champion it all day, but I really think it is a place that people need to explore. People need to swing with that shit. Like, oh,
Yeah, no, that's interesting, Ken's Bill. I'll have to give it a look for sure.
He's got a whole primer, the whole thing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, ETBs are. I mean, I get it. Dockside is a good card, and shutting off Dockside and Thoracle in ETBs is pretty sweet.
It's
but
like most of the game.
I just like Breach is like the games I win are so often just through Breach lines when I'm playing like meta decks, and or like Najila just beating you up, not giving a shit about. I mean, she cares about Linvala, I guess that's true, but not about ETBs.
No,
Doesn't care about those.
No. So yeah, I built this Italia deck. I rebuilt it. I'm stoked about it. I was like starting to look through the cards and stuff like that. I'm realizing that it can't that it needs rocks instead of rituals, and it sucks because the rituals are mana positive and the rocks aren't really. But it sucks to hit those rituals off of the Italia flips.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I hit one. And
Rocks are at least like you get to keep it for next
time.
Yeah,
you get to hang on to that stupid ass thing, and I might just jam it through full of like some of the funnier like 3-mana rocks. I think is the plan.
There's like people I know. There's like this whole joke about hating about three cost mana rocks, but Wizards has printed some interesting. You get a lot of options if you're willing to run three CMC rocks. So there's so many that just have like one little extra ability tacked onto them
that are hyper specific, that are just like, this is cool, for like it's for your 1/1 counter, or like Scoop. I do play Neheb. I picked up a Soulless Jailer today. I went to the
Soulless Jailer's sweet.
I went to the LGS and I picked up. I got a couple of cards. I got a Soulless Jailer and I got the fucking Sky Hunter also.
Nice.
So those are some Dalsum pickups I had. They did not have the fucking. They didn't have the blue pod card. I was so disappointed.
Oh, bummer.
It's like a 55-cent card and they didn't have it. Dude was like, nope, somebody must have picked it up. And I think it's only it didn't make sense though, because it's a blue card, but it's not available. But it's in the commander set. But none of the commander decks are blue. So it's
really.
Yes. Its color identity is blue. So I think it might be like one of those that's only available like in the set boosters and the collector boosters. But it says it's from Commander. So there have been. So like Umbrus.
Wild.
Umbrus was exclusive
to
those specific boosters. So yeah, so I want this card, but yeah, it's like 55 cents.
Yes.
So I'm gonna. Yoshimaru was that way. There you go. So
Interesting. It's funny that it's still so cheap.
it's
It's like
dirt
kind of
cheap
bizarrely specific
because
way
no
to
one
get
wants the stupid ass cards. So I want it for
Yeah.
the stupid cube. Oh, and I got these too. I got 2 other cards that I was like, these are worth either having around or good for the cube. I got the Mind Splice apparatus, which is the one that makes the instants and sorceries cheaper.
Nice, yes.
And fucking Juggernaut.
Whoa, that's a sweet.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this version of this one.
And this shit is like, this again was like 55 cents. This thing's gonna be expensive
Wow.
eventually, I think. This card is stupid though. 8 mana for a 7/5. Juggernauts you control attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control cannot be blocked by walls. And then, most importantly, other creatures you control have base power and toughness 5/3 and are juggernauts.
Nice.
So all your shit just turns into has to attack and can't be blocked by walls, and it's a 5/3. Doesn't
That's
matter
pretty sweet.
what it
I'm into
is.
this.
Just all your shit's a 5/3 now. So I'm gonna put this in the cube for sure.
Nice.
This is a stupid ass card. People are gonna laugh when they see it.
I need to do my 1% TCG order of cool 55-cent cards. That's
Yep.
definitely where I'm at with with buying stuff.
Yeah.
I got a cool card in the mail. It was this was I received as a prize for getting top 4 in that tournament, but they hadn't actually they hadn't shown up from their TCG order yet, because that's how TCG goes. But it's a foily dockside.
Oh, what? That's sick. Good shit,
Pretty sweet.
dude.
Yeah, I can't decide. I think I want to trade it for something, because I have the OG dockside, and I think I like that one more, even though it's not foil. Because I have the sweet altar sleeve for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The G Sabertooth one, so so I might be trading this one, or I might just hang on to it for a while. It came in this crazy, like, I was like, whoa, did they like slab this thing up? But it does come out of here. But I had never seen one of these before.
It's in a real nice case. That's cool. That's that's a really cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. That was sweet. And yeah, they were like, they kept messaging me like, oh, we're so sorry, we're just waiting for these things to show. I was like, it's all good. It's all,
I got this one in the mail today. I got Chiscoria, the full art
hell
foil.
Yeah.
Of course, now that I've like picked through that deck to build Itali. But I'm really excited to play this Itali deck. I think it's gonna do good work. I think it'll be funny. It's got a lot of goofy stuff in it. I'm just I found this Rod of Wonder. 4 mana artifact, tap 4 mana and roll a d20. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery, then shuffles the rest. You may cast up to X instant and sorcery spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. And then 1 through 9, X is 1, 1 through 9, or 10 through 19, X is 2, and then a 20, X is 3.
Nice.
So it's it's like taking people's stuff. It's using people's stuff. It's using flips. So I really put the deck heavily towards, I put a stolen strategy in there.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. Sorry, conspicuous mentioning flipping the dockside for an Elishnorn. That might be the play, since I do need that stupid Elishnorn.
What's the Elishnorn for?
For Rune, my horrible Rune and Karuga deck, because it doubles ETBs.
Yep, good looks. Yeah, definitely flip that for Elishnorn for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Is it the showcase? Is that the one that's the Junji Ito art?
Oh, that one's the coolest one.
No, not
the
showcase. It's
that one. The art on that is so batshit. It's so intense and crazy.
It's just TCG players just not gonna show. They're like, there's too many versions. What do you want? Help us help you.
I bought one pack at Walmart and got the concept art one. I was like,
dude, that's so cool.
I was like, that's a good rip.
Yeah.
I was so
these are getting more expensive now.
No, they are
gonna keep getting cheaper.
How much is the fucking Junji Ginger
It was
jump
down to
up.
72. Now it's up to 84.
Oh no! Is that
I
and is that
know.
for the? That's not for the fancy foil though. The fancy
No,
foil's
even for
like
the fancy ones, like $200.
big fucking brick of money, right?
Yeah, 150. I don't even care about the foil, honestly. I just want one
Well,
with
how
the
much is that
Junji
goofy
for it.
dockside? That's gonna be fucking
It's
dollars.
like 60 something.
No way. In foil and everything?
I think so.
No way.
Yeah, no one cares about dockside anymore.
Wow, corny.
I think it's 50 for the non-foil, 60, yeah, 65 for the foil. It looks like
Wow, a
it's pretty.
measly $65.
Yeah,
Wow, how far we've fallen, huh?
I know, little docky.
So, I guess it wasn't. Yeah, it started high, but okay. All right, that's funny. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that I'm just worried that so I built this deck and I went out to play it, and the very first thing that happens is dude next to me plays a fucking Dance of the Many, copies my fucking, makes a clone of Atali, attacks with it because it's everything's got haste because the other player played a Concordant Crossroads, and then he flips into removal and blows up my Atali. And I was like, this is exactly what we didn't want to happen, you know? Like, this is the last thing that we wanted to see. So I was like devastated. I was so salty. I was so bummed out. So that was a disappointment. But I think that I think I'm excited to see what this deck can do, to see how hard it goes, to see how crazy I can get with it. So
for sure.
So my only thing is I'm gonna have to be very diligent about giving people their fucking cards back.
Totally. I'll leave with twice as many cards as you showed up with.
You're gonna be like, wow, I got all these fucking awesome new cards for my casual decks. So I'm gonna have to be very, very aware of that for sure.
Yeah, I think Atali to me is just like such a iconic, like, big moves commander card that I love it. I'm always stoked to see it show up.
Over the top, I was thinking about pull that for sure. I was thinking about running that, and then what? Okay. What's the free red spell from Modern Horizons 2? What is this free red spell? Is this the? Oh, I think the will. It's something's will. Like, cause it's like Gaia's will and all that stuff. The suspend card. I saw one of those in a pile, and I was like, wait, this actually kind of makes sense in Atali. What is this fucking? What's the card?
Free spell from Modern Horizons 2.
I got it here. I got the name. It's coming up. It's Glimpse of Tomorrow, I believe it is what we're looking for.
Oh yeah, this thing. Oh, it's a Warp World card.
Yeah. Yeah, it fucking is.
I love Warp World. I know that's not a popular opinion, but Warp World's
So yeah,
very
it's just
funny
a
to me.
free ass shuffle all permanents you own into your library, then reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put all non-aura permanents onto the battlefield, then do the same for auras. I really did think about this because this would be a crazy Atali flip for sure. And I thought about over the top as well. Over the top's crazy though because it happens to each player. Each player just doubles their permanents. This one is like, yeah, I mean, who knows what the fuck comes out of your deck when you do this? You know, you could totally fuck yourself, but you could end up with like an insane board state also. So,
Totally.
But the thing is, it shuffles away Atali. You know?
Yeah. No, you're all in if you resolve that spell. It's super funny. I used to play Warp World in Standard when it freaking first came out, so I do love doing that. It is a very funny effect.
Yep. It is wild. So I saw one though. I saw one at this game store, at the game store where that dumb play happened to me, and I was like, oh, this could actually go in here. Because I was thinking about like so Scoop. That's the thing, is this build I made. I didn't build it to be oops all Eldrazi. I built it to be oops all synergy. So everything is like and very like on theme as far as like taking people's stuff. So I think I could put like more threaten effects in here and shit like that, but I don't even think that's like, because if you hit that during combat, it's like great, I take a creature till the end of turn. Like fuck's that gonna do, you know?
No, it's true. You gotta try to think about things that are still good to cast post combat.
Yeah. So that's why I've got like your fucking, I don't know, what's some of the dumb bombs I put in here that do that shit. Like, oh my god, this Nalfshi card is insane. I put a portal to Phyrexian there because I figured that takes people's stuff.
Oh yeah, for
Portal
sure.
to Phyrexia is like having a Shieldred in the deck. N A.
Oh yeah, Nalfshi is sweet. I forgot about this one.
Nalfshi.
Yeah.
Procs off those
That
flips.
card's
Whenever you cast a
wild.
spell from exile, copy it.
Yeah, that's in the Faldorn deck as well. I'm pretty sure.
So that's like when I do those Atali flips, I'm just copying whatever the fuck those spells are, just getting two of them. Like, you know, that's. And if it's a permanent spell, it gains haste and it gets exploded. So like, okay, you know, like, oh well, my fucking whatever it is has haste, you know. The new sword, Forging Frontier.
Yeah, the green-red one. We were kind of looking at that last time.
Exile the top 2 cards of your library, cast, play them this turn, play an additional land. Yeah, that's not terrible. Yeah, that's cool. I think if I put any more equipment in there, I think I need to put in a Conqueror's Flail. Because like I'll be like, I move to attacks, and people will be like, fuck Atali. So I think like Conqueror's Flail is maybe more relevant, you know, just to like have Atali do attacks, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like all the interaction is like I've got a Tybalt's Trickery and a Chaos Warp, and then it's all like fork, reverberate. I want to get a bolt bend, so it's all just like, nope, I do it also. I do it back to you, that sort of shit, you know. So they're like, and then there's the Pyroblast R and the REB, which I think I've got like one of the two in here. No board wipes. I thought pretty hard about board wipes.
I don't ever run board wipes anymore. I know that like they might, you know, work better or get me out of certain situations, but fuck it. I like to have my stuff around still. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Ricochet Trap is good, but maybe... Yeah. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, Ricochet Trap is probably a good choice too. And so all of those spells, all of those, like I take your spell and I do something else, it's this on theme. It's all I take your stuff and I do something else with it. You know, so I thought that was like a really cheeky way to have it continuously be on the theme of I'm taking things.
Yeah, totally.
So
all about it.
The question is,
I'm stoked to hear how this thing comes together.
Do I put in a Final Fortune is the real question, and take an extra turn myself. I got one. Definitely. I've totally got one. So I was like, yeah, I can put it in. You know, like you flip that off the top of the tally, though. You got to be ready.
Yeah, like, oh, be ready to go.
Maybe not Final Fortune. Like, all right, let's do it. People will be like, oh, all right, going for it.
See it. Yep. Let's see that final turn.
Oh, and the worst thing about that game at the store was it was that sequencing of events was so crazy. Turn 1, the guy next to me goes, passes, and I think early, like turn 2, the second player puts down that Concordant Crossroads. And then the third player tutors, and I reverberate the tutor. I was like, I also tutor. And I went and got a fucking Jeweled Lotus. And so I had a turn 3 hasty Atali, and I fucking swing with it, and it hits 4 lands.
Oh my god.
I hit 4 lands, and then pass the turn, and the dude goes, I make an Atali, I swing with it, I blow up your Atali. I was like, fuck! Like, I was so bummed out. It was just like instantly, too, with the fucking Dance of the Many, and this card is worded, I wanted to flip the table over.
Dance of the Many is so funny.
Maybe it's not Dance of the Many, but it's like whatever, that stupid
That's
blue.
the slugs one, right?
Yeah, I thought they were like George O'Keeffe looking flowers or some shit.
Or whatever they are.
I don't even know. It's Dance. No.
Dance of Many.
Of Many. Oh, and it's worded
something.
so bad. There's so many fucking words on this thing.
There's all the words, but it basically says to make a copy of something, and it is linked to this enchantment.
And
if either dies, the other dies.
Because the enchantment's got an upkeep.
And the enchantment, you have to pay 2 blue each turn to keep it alive.
Yeah.
But not cumulative, just 2 blue
No,
each
just
turn.
2 blue, and you just continue to have somebody else's stupid-ass commander. So, yeah.
It's so funny, because I had the original version, or no, I had the Chronicles version of this card as a kid, and I remember trying to figure out what it, like, really did.
Yep.
So many times, and just, getting 2 lines into it and being like, I don't need this one.
Yep, not playing. Little did we know.
It actually would have been really good. It probably would have been like one of the better cards I had back then, copying other people's good stuff, but
little did we know, it
didn't
totally
know.
fucks.
Yeah.
Like if Mystic Remora and Phantasmal Image had a bastard love child. Basically,
yes.
Yeah, you nailed it. So yeah, I think decks for Philly, I've ruled it down to Itali, Gix, Dalsum, and I'm torn between Volo and Precon Marin. But I can only fit 3 of them in my little case here, and I also have to bring the cube.
Yeah.
So I might just even leave. I might just go Itali, Gix, Dalsum. That's it. Because Volo, I'm just probably not going to play unless I get real bored of the 3 I have. But I may do the, I play other people's decks thing. I may, who knows.
Grab a precon while you're there.
Yeah.
Play an unsleeved precon. It's one of my favorite moves.
Wow. Do the fucking shuffle.
No, I really hate it when people like damage cards on purpose, but I don't know. I feel like I can play with the deck a couple times without hurting it too bad.
For sure. So I think these are 3 good choices, though, and then it's just I'm gonna do the cube a bunch of times. Hopefully, once each day is the hope. That dude who's he built this cube. This dude Andrew, I can't remember his last name. Anybody in this chat, if you get the chance to play this dude's cube, he built an arch enemy cube.
Nice.
And it is so fucking tight.
Arch enemy cube. That sounds super fun.
It's so crazy, and you get your rolls beforehand.
Nice.
And then you draft for your roll. And
that's super cool.
It's cool for sure. It was so tight, and so there were cards in it where it was like things actually mattered, like whether or not you were one roll or the other, because it would be like each opponent gets X, if you're not on the arch enemy team, it's very specifically like it would or would not affect your teammates or whatever. And I got I was like color fixing, and the I don't know what the battle bond lands, the bond, what do they call them? I don't know what they fucking call them. But I got a luxury suite, and I was on the allied side, and I played the luxury suite, and it's if you have 2 or more opponents, and I only had a 1 fucking opponent. I was like, oh no! So I was like, this land sucks because there's only 1 guy. So, but it was like very much, very very much a statement to like how well the cube was built, that it was like those sort of things were in there, thought about. So
yeah,
I'm doing
super
that.
Cool.
doing that Sunday morning.
That makes me want to build. I've been wanting to make this anyway, but doing it as a cube sounds really fun. Doing like a mafia style setup where there's like multiple roles that are secret, but if everyone knew their role before the draft even happened,
Wow, that'd be super
that'd be
dope.
pretty.
Super,
Yeah.
super sick. That'd be really fun. There
I
was
gotta sit down and write out this plan at some point, but it'll happen.
so there's this guy back in Brooklyn. He runs a shop called Debasement. I believe I've told you about Debasement.
Yeah,
And
totally.
he has a version of that sort of thing called fuck. I've got the box of them. They're like he printed them and everything, and they're on these long cards. It's called like Kingdoms or something like that. And I played it like once there, maybe twice there, and then I like placed in a tournament, and he was like, "You get $15 store credit," and I was like, "Let me get one of your game things, one of your," and he was like, "Oh, that's cool," you know.
Nice.
So yeah, that's I guess it's in somewhat relevant to you wanting to build that, but building it for a cube would be wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on this one.
So would you maybe like build each? Because the way to do that would be like you have your set number of rolls, and then you basically take like build a deck for each roll, and then add like 10 cards or something like that that might also cross over to some of the other rolls. And so you could build a deck for each roll very specifically, and people would probably pick up on it, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, and certain roles have overlap with different roles too, with like your objective or whatever. So yeah, I gotta think on it. I'm all about like mafia style games, and I'm horrible at them. So I think it'd be really fun to do a magic based one.
The way his worked was each role had an ability, and you could flip it. Like maybe not each of them, but a lot of them had like a your life is like each of them had like some dumb ability they could like that went above this, like it's just an instant like I would like to make my river call, and once per game you can flip it over and turn somebody's fucking cards into noodles or something. Who the fuck knows?
Nice. No, I like that too for sure.
It was cool. It was a fun way to play for sure, and it made it so that like people's abilities would go over. If you tried to go infinite, the people could be like, "Go, nope, that doesn't work because of my dumb ability," you know?
Yeah, totally.
So I think you could build a cube around a mafia style game, very much so. And I think I build it how you would like, but I think building a deck for each role.
Yeah, I think that's a smart way to do it actually for cube. Build a deck and then it just becomes part of the cube. But then people will see it in there or whatever.
I wonder if people build that way. I wonder if that's a way that people build their cubes. Probably.
Yeah,
there's probably even a fucking name for it. It's a bleh style cube.
Yeah,
it's a backwards deconstructed method.
Up down.
Yeah, an up down method. Yeah. Some shit like that. If you're a big cube person, let us know in the chat, in the comments, wherever you get. Just let us know if that's a thing. But so I'm playing this guy's archenemy cube on Sunday.
Nice.
I'm gonna run my cube on Saturday morning, and then Friday morning I'm gonna try to jam games with Sheldon. So
nice. Heck yeah.
I have something in the evening on Sunday, but otherwise, Shannibal saying pre-game hangs on Thursday at Barcade, so might pull out, go out to Barcade, meet up with you guys, and fucking play games at the Barcade. I want to just fucking sling Magic. I just want to play fucking Magic all goddamn weekend. That's really like.
I hear you. I need to have a big Magic weekend again for sure. It's been a moment.
Yeah, for sure. That what's up?
I mean, we were wrapping up.
Yeah, that works for sure. It's a tight hour, and we talked about all sorts of things with Tangent City out here, but I think that's okay. That's good though. An hour. Let's see who else is out there. We get a mob up on somebody for sure.